It may be a bit too early to get into gardening, but it is the right time to plant some seeds for a beautiful smile, one that's going to blossom by the time the flowers begin to bloom in May. Dentist Steve Marsh is here to cultivate ways to help you begin to grin again.
Oh, what a wonderful introduction. Thanks, Lori.
You're welcome. So,
Lori, before we even start with dentistry, your last guest just talked about medicines, and I have to tell you, as a practitioner, it's so important what she said. Whether you bring the pills or that list, we need to update it all the time because medications have a lot of effect, whether it's in medical treatment or dentistry. Some of them make dry mouth, and all of those affect us. So what she said was really important.
So not just doctors, but dentists too.
Oh,
that was a good point. But a few weeks ago, you talked about missing teeth, and we did get some questions, more questions. Viewers wanted to hear a little bit more about that. So could you first review the causes of missing teeth?
Well, there are a number of them. One would be periodontal or gum disease when you lose the bone in the tissue. Another thing could be decay. You get a decay that turns the tooth very soft. It's brittle, almost like an egg. You bite down and it loses its stability. Sometimes it's from an old tooth that had a big silver filling and you bite down enough and the tooth fractures. So there are a number of different causes. Sometimes people are congenitally missing teeth, meaning they never grew in.
Oh, okay. And my husband actually missing a teeth like that. So there's lots of options for replacing these missing teeth. I mean, there's partials and there's implants. And how do you know what's best for any given patient?
Well, you know, a lot depends on two things, really, what's practical and there are also dental reasons. Practically, it may be a time consideration. There may be a financial consideration. From a dental standpoint, you may have good teeth around the thing. You may have weak teeth. So that all factors into how we do things. Now, I thought I'd show a couple things. You know, people who are missing all their teeth, upper dentures generally stay in well because of the upper denture has a vacuum. Lowers don't. So if somebody's missing all their teeth, oftentimes you hear about implants and implant dentures.
Okay.
This is an example of a lower arch with an implant, and then this is a denture that we now make with 4 implants, and the denture actually snaps in. And when it snaps in, you finally have a solid dent. So that's one great new thing in dentistry.
Okay.
The other is partials. In the old days, Lori, we used to have these partials that had poured metal and hooks. Today we can do them very flexibly with what's called Flexite. It does a beautiful job and it's very comfortable and no one knows you're wearing them. And I actually have some pictures of all these different options.
So show us some of these examples. Oh, here we go.
So I mentioned upper and lower dentures. This patient looked great when she came in. Obviously some spaces. It turned out when we took x-rays, radiographs digitally, there was almost no bone around her teeth. Like her parents, she had what we used to call pyorrhea, now we say periodontal disease. I worked with a periodontist, there was no hope. So you see the after on the upper. That's a full upper denture, and I mentioned that they stay very well. It's a beautiful result.
Right.
On the lower, we did just what we showed here, demonstrated here. Those are 3 implants, not 4, and you can see the underside of a lower denture with snaps, and they literally snap into those implants. And finally, people can wear lower dentures successfully. And again, there's a picture of an upper denture that looks beautiful. We're able to pick the picture we want. So what about people who have lost back teeth? This woman had some pretty bad front ones. We did a porcelain bridge, 6 teeth across, and that's one of those partials that I just showed you. You can't see where it is, where it begins and ends, and gives a beautiful result and also stable. Sometimes someone's missing 1 tooth. This is somebody who I restored his mouth. He had a tooth that had a root canal. It became brittle, fractured. You now see the implant post, and you now see the crown on top. So for a single tooth, that's a single tooth implant and the crown on top. Well, I mentioned adjacent teeth. So this patient had lost it when he was young. He was in a bicycle accident. For years wore what's called a flipper. It goes in and out. He got tired of it. He's actually a physician. And he said now he wants something permanent. He also didn't like the shapes of the others, so we did a 4-tooth, all porcelain bridge. He was not a candidate for implants because he had lost so much bone because he lost the tooth so young. So again, not everybody's a candidate. And here's a woman where she had congenitally missing teeth. Again, congenitally missing teeth means you were born with them. You mentioned your husband. So for years, she wore a partial that went in and out with metal, with hooks, to replace those teeth and didn't want to be seen without those. You can see that we did a 6-tooth porcelain bridge, no implants, and got a wonderful result. So depending on your time, your finances, and what your adjacent teeth are, all those factors play into how we can restore missing teeth, but the good news is we can.
And that is good news. No matter which option is right for you, Steve can help your smile become a blooming success. To find out more, give him a call. The number's coming up next.
See what Dr. Stephen Marsh can do for your smile by calling 440-461-1003 or visit www.clevelandsmiles.com. Next, you've got to see this.